So it looked like Kuma's time in the story is up. One Piece chapter 1092, Akainu is getting that boy up out of there. So with the end of Kuma, we expect the backstory. And I got to thinking of all the connections Kuma has, of all the characters he knows, and all the little lines that's being said about him or either Bonnie, and where this could be going. We know One Piece is good for backstories. One Piece has some of the best backstories in anime. Kuma backstory might be the best backstory we see in One Piece. If this goes where I think it's going, and all the storylines that are supposed to combine all does it in Kuma's backstory, this might be the best backstory we ever got in One Piece. You look at Bonnie. We can find out the truth behind Bonnie. Bonnie's true age. Who is she really? Is she really Kuma's biological daughter? Or is this like an adopted thing? Maybe Bonnie's mom. Bonnie's mom might be a celestial dragon, because I don't think Kuma is. He just seems to have real close ties to celestial dragons and marines, admirals. So I don't think he is a celestial dragon from what we know. We know he might be from some special kind of race. I don't think he himself is a celestial dragon, but he may have been married to, or Bonnie's mom might have been a celestial dragon. So we may see the truth behind that. You can also find out why pre-time skip Akainu was scared when he found out Bonnie escaped. What's so special about Bonnie that would make the current admiral, future fleet admiral, scared of her escape? On top of that, she now seemed to have also ties to Kuzan. Of he consider her some kind of a friend, like maybe Sentomaru-ish, or maybe not as close, but something like that. Of like, where were these bonds formed? And you have Saturn, of when he's being asked what to do with everyone. He's like, yeah, kill everybody. And he's asked about Bonnie, he's like, she's just a kid, leave her be. That stood out to me because that seemed very uncharacteristic. It's just kill the Straw Hats and everybody else, destroy everything except for the goals we're here for, protect York, Labo Face, so we can recreate the Mother Flame, but everybody else could die, including possibly Lucci. But when it comes to Bonnie, just leave her be.
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
I think there's some type of connection there. So we may find out what that is about. So not only does she know, or may know, the Admiral, she may also know the Gorosei. How much does Bonnie know? And then, even more importantly, how much does Kuma know? Kuma, in his last moments, decides to send himself to the Holy Land and is rampaging. And that's why we have unfortunate situation for him. He's met with Fleet Admiral Akainu. In that exchange, Akainu asks a question we all want to know. Where is he going? What is he doing? We know how close he was to Vegapunk. Before, I thought maybe Vegapunk left like a failsafe where he could get his mind back somewhere in Mirijoa. We know he was a slave there for a really long time. Maybe Vegapunk left a little something there that when the Revolutionary Army went to save him, they could just go give him his mind back. Kuma is back. That's clearly not going to happen. That was wrong. He's clearly about to be out of here. So then there's something else. We know how close Kuma and Vegapunk was. And we also know that Vegapunk had a relationship with Dragon. So which one came first? Did Kuma already know Vegapunk, and through that relationship, Kuma met Dragon and joined the revolutionary armies? Is that how that went? Or was Kuma already a revolutionary and then Vegapunk came into play? If Kuma can be tied to Vegapunk or Dragon way back in the day of Hohara, and he could have connections, not connections to that, but know them back then. So the close relationship they have, Kuma gave Vegapunk all his memories. During that process, they might have been conversations. Kuma may know way more than we think he knows. And if he does know way more than we think he knows, that makes whatever he's doing in the holy land of Mirijoa even more interesting. Dragon is clearly clueless of what Kuma is doing and where he's going. And we know Vegapunk was the one that did what he did to Kuma. So is this Vegapunk doing? Is what Kuma about to do help Vegapunk or hurt the world government? Did Vegapunk hedge his bet? There's so much going on. So many questions to be answered with this Kuma thing. When you think about it and you lead it all back to the backstory, there's only one place that we know of already existing, already established in the story, that all these pieces would possibly be connected. Of Bonnie knowing the Gorosei and admirals, which makes me assume obviously Kuma would know the admirals, but he may also had some connection with the Gorosei as well, since it seems that Bonnie does, which makes me think that somewhere along the line Kuma has connections to God Valley. And when we start talking about endgame and top players, who doesn't have connections to God Valley? So in this Kuma backstory, we may very well get God Valley. In Kuma's backstory, we may see Roger and Garp versus Rocks. We may get the remaining of Kaido's backstory that we left out in Wano. So I don't even want to talk about that. We may get Big Mom information of what she was doing during that time. We know she found out Kaido left. We didn't know, did she join the battle? Did she take side? Did she just also leave? We get to find all this out. We may see Shanks, baby Shanks. We know they found Shanks at God Valley. We may get the full lineage of Shanks in Kuma's backstory. All of this can all come together in one. We know this is endgame. We don't have time to individually poke at every, or we may not have to. Who knows when Oda goes off on his side quests. It would be amazing if at least just to start this, because you don't have to flush everyone out in Kuma's backstory, but just as a starter, you have this big event just all culminate in Kuma backstory. So going forward, we will already know about Shanks and his full lineage. We get all the Bonnie questions answered. We get some Gorosei information and their connections and what they do. We wrap up on Kuma and everything he knows, his memories and all that good stuff. Information about the admirals and their relationship. Garp and Roger back in the day, we may get to see one of the best fights in One Piece history. Not the anime, but like the world of One Piece. Of the Rocks fight. That probably may have been the best fight ever, or the biggest fight ever, that destroyed God Valley. God Valley no longer exists. We may get to see that. Ancient weapon information. This can go so many different places. I'm excited. What do y'all think? What do you think is going to be the main or the biggest reveal? What's your theory for Kuma's backstory? What you think the big shocker for Kuma's backstory is? Or is there going to be a shocker? Do you think it's just another sad story? Kuma was the king. For whatever reason, he got bamboozled. Now he's a puppet. Do you think it's just going to be Kuma based? Or do you think it's going to be some big major thing? Because if it's just Kuma based, I'm going to find it weird. Like, why do we have all these other little mini plot lines going on? Normally when Oda does that, it's because they're going to be culmination. Like with Law backstory, we get to see some Virgo, we got to see Corazon, we get to see Dofi, information about the world government, the information network, and the fruit of both of them hunting the Opie no Mi. All of that culminates in Law's backstory. We know Virgo was introduced, and there's different plot lines going on. We was heading to Dofi. He came. They all got introduced around the, not just introduced, but when the plot line took the main front, they all came together at the same time. And then in the Law backstory, we all got some information about all of that. This may be that, or something very similar, just on a way bigger scale. But what do you think? Let me know. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, I know that you gon' say, 'cause you need something real, for real.